Imagine a city so fortified that it seemed impossible to be defeated. Imagine living behind gigantic walls, surrounded by invisible enemies. And now imagine that the only hope of your family, depend on a choice that can cost your own life. This is the story of an unlikely woman. A woman the world despised, but which God chose to change the destiny of nations. Her name was Rahab, Jericho. Her walls rose like monsters. Double-thick stone, almost unreachable. From afar, she seemed invincible. Protected by watchtowers' gates, reinforced and soldiers armed to the teeth. Inside the city, life ran in markets. Tight alleys and streets, where the smell of spices mixed with that of dust and sweat. And it was between these streets, on top of one of the houses built over the wall, that Rahab lived through. She wasn't a woman. His house was a place of passage for travelers and merchants. And his name carried a burden on many. She was just the whore on the wall. But to God, she was part of a much bigger plan. Rumors began to arrive with travelers. A strange people coming from the desert, defeating kings and armies without losing a single battle. Stories of a God who opened seas, made fall food from the sky, and turned slaves into conquerors. Rahab listened, and something inside her burned. While others laughed, she perceived this God. It wasn't like the Jericho ones made of stone and wood. He was alive and coming. It was night when two men appeared at your door. They dressed like travelers, but Rahab immediately recognized they were not merchants, were Israelite foreigners. Fear persists your body. Receive men as those meant betrayal of the city. But something stronger than fear spoke in his heart. She hid them on the terrace on bundles of linen. Soon strong beats echoed at the door. Bring out the men who entered your house. They are spies. Rahab trained deep to lie to the Japanese soldiers, lead LA to death. But she was a calm one. They have been here, but they are already gone. If they run, maybe they still reach them. The soldiers left in a hurry, and Rahab climbed to the terrace. His eyes found those of spies, and with a firm voice, she said, I know you gave them this land. Our people are terrified. Swear to me by the Lord that they will save my family when Jericho falls. Men looked at each other. They knew they couldn't promise anything without involving the name of God. Then one of them said, his life for ours, if you don't tell anyone about us. When you hand over this city to us, we will save you and everyone in your house. Rahab then tied a flexible rope and pulled them down through the window that projected onto the outer side of the wall. The wind and that rope swayed like a silent signal. A symbol of faith for many was just a red thread. But for Rahab, it was God's promise. Days later, the sound-offs broke the air. The people of Israel besieged Jericho by marching in demonstrations. Day after day from the top of your house, Rahab watched the heart fell then in the seventh day to the sound-offs and the war cry. The walls began to shake. Stones came loose, dust came up, and the impossible happened. The walls fell, all except the one where Rahab's house was. The Israelites entered the city, destroying everything. But as promised, Rahab and his family were taken alive. She left behind the city she knew and moved on to the future. Unknown, but with a God she now knew to be real. Time passed, and Rahab not only joined the people of Israel, but became part of the Messiah's own lineage. a former prostitute now remembered as a heroine of faith. Her name is written in Hebrew, 11 beside the greatest men and women who believe in God. Rahab reminds us that faith is not about where you came from, but where do you decide to go? That God can turn shame into honor, and that no past is so dirty that it cannot clean up. If he chose Rahab, he can also choose you. It all starts with a step of faith. What will be your choice? And this is how the Rahab story ends. An unlikely woman, but chosen by God to fulfill an eternal role. If this message spoke to your heart, I want to thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. Your presence here is very important. If you like to know stories of Bible characters that inspire faith and transformation, do not forget to like this video. IT helps a lot, so that more people are also bothered by these messages. And if you are not yet registered, subscribe right now on the channel and activate the notification bell so as not to lose none of our next stories. We have many more narratives, questions about men and women that mark the history of faith. Thank you for watching, and until next video.